In the history of the church, there have been some verses that have really been a challenge, knowing how to interpret it in a way that satisfies all of our different opinions. And one of those verses is in Matthew chapter 26, and it's verse 26. And I'm going to read it, and I'm going to share my heart on this in a way that I hope will encourage you. This is the verse. Matthew 26:26 says, "While they were eating, Jesus took bread, and when he'd given thanks, he broke it and gave it to his disciples, saying, 'Take, eat, this is my body.'" Now, we get so caught up in discussions about what did it mean when he said, "This is my body." Does it mean that bread actually changes physically to be like Jesus? What does it mean? But I want to take us just a few words back from "This is my body," where Jesus said to them, "Take and eat." Because this is extraordinary. However we view that verse, whether we think the bread is transubstantiated or we think the bread is just bread or where we're at, the fact that Jesus is actually saying, "Take and eat, this is my body," really means that he's saying to us that I want you to feast on me. Now, whether that just means eating the bread in a certain way or however you take it, I know that in the communion service it talks about feasting on God in your heart and being grateful. Well, that's really important. But it is this sense of take and eat. Do we really take God that seriously? Do we really believe that this is how Jesus wants us to respond to him? When we hear the stories about Jesus, we can be so sentimentally attached. We think, "Oh, that's lovely. Isn't Jesus wonderful?" And I very often these days when I'm listening to certain worship songs, I think, oh, we've reached a point of real sentimentality in our worship sometimes. And it's almost like, Jesus is my boyfriend. But, well, there's something about take and eat that is so deliberate, isn't it? It's not saying just don't worship me from a distance. It's saying actually take and eat. Everything that I am, everything that I live, everything I've ever done is for you to take and eat, for you to chew upon in your heart and to feast upon and to look at what I've done and let it not just be an example, but be a strengthening to you. Because actually we're told to be like him. And how are we going to be like him if we don't feast on him? So however you view the bread that Jesus gave them, I want you to hear what is behind it. That he's not just saying feast on the bread, but he's saying feast on me. I want you to take me and I want you to consume me. I want you to actually get everything that you can out of my givenness to you. I don't know, I've never really thought about it as fully as I should. But sometimes when someone just gives me a piece of bread, I am grateful in my heart, but that seems so small compared with the greatness of Jesus giving himself to us in every way. He gave himself to us on the cross. But he lived out that life on the earth from childhood and into his 30s so that we could see what a perfect life he led. All the good things he did, all the love he showed, and we can feast on that in our hearts and be grateful for everything that Jesus is. We thank him for his shed blood, but we need to feast on that life that he's lived for us and continues to live to inspire us. Feast on Jesus.